Welcome, everybody, to episode 31 of How to Become a Sales Warrior. I am your host, Eddie Pods. This is my co-host,
Mark Simpson.
And why are we here, Mark?
Well, we're here to educate the younger generation about all the struggles of sales and kind of grinding our way through. You and I are grinders, and I think we have good stories to share, nice guests to introduce, and we kind of grind our way, and after 25 plus 30 years of doing this stuff, pass along some tips to the younger generation.
That is my entire goal. And it's funny, our past co-host, Ty, I saw him last Friday, and we had lunch, and I swear to you, it was like the student coming back to the professor, you know, total success job in the attitude. Like, I was doing this on the calls, and I remember doing this on the calls,
Right.
And like he's really picking up steam, doing what he's doing, not running a business. He's just doing sales, and it was just so cool to see a 34-year-old guy excited.
It clicked.
It clicked.
Yeah.
It clicked. So I was pretty excited for that. Jump right in with the best sports moment of the weekend.
I'll
Go.
So obviously it was very exciting with the Knicks going up 2-0, but it was kind of fake. And listen, I want to be wrong. I really do want to be wrong. But I think Celtics in 6, but I'm hoping for the best tonight. We'll see. But obviously, again, we'll take our New York Mets are still rolling along. I'm very excited about it. And Soto is just starting to go. And this Friday, coming up this weekend, is the return of Soto to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Contemplating going, but I'm not sure if I show up in a Mets Soto jersey will work very well at Yankee
Subway
Stadium.
Series.
Right.
My daughter was there Friday night.
Yeah.
And before she left, she put on a Soto jersey, and I said, he's going to hit one for you tonight. He did. I mean, I took credit for it, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
But they got to go see an easy win game, which is awesome.
Easy wins don't come easy for this team either.
Definitely not. Definitely not. All right. So today we're talking about Chapter 7. Oh, you know what? Scatterborough.
Oh.
They did a full-page article on him.
Yep.
In Newsday.
Yep.
Fantastic article. If you could go back and check into it, he's awesome.
So I'm not a big jersey guy, at least on the football side. I'm going to get his jersey for the Giants.
There you go. There you go. So Chapter 17, it's kind of almost what I was talking about with Ty. Inspiration. Who inspires you? I know for myself in the sales, I never found too many people that I actually work with that could inspire me. I do take lessons from the gentleman who hired me at Pods because he was a renegade VP, and it was really cool to see a guy just fuck you the system,
right,
and do everything his way and be successful and win and make a ton of money for his whole team. He inspired me.
Right.
But other than him, there's been very few people that have.
You know what? That's an interesting point because I think about my career. There's a few people that stand out that I can spit off the top, and I tell them that too. When I'm like, it's very rare that I meet somebody I'm like that has my work ethic, or that somebody I'm like, oh wait, I really want to hear what you've done and really look up to. And yeah, I think as you get along in your career, you definitely kind of can. If I said, Ed, give me 3 people, you'd be like, all right, I got it.
I got it. And you know, the other one is someone who was on the show. He came in via Zoom. It's my wife's. My wife has this connection of 13 Siena girls, husbands, big troop from college. And I was the guy who just wanted to hang and have fun. And I connected with this one guy, Greg, who lives in North Carolina. And he's me, I'm him in the sense of what we think, what we believe in,
Right.
And he's a successful entrepreneur. And I've respected the hell out of him. And he to me is a mentor.
Right.
So the action statement from the chapter is, are you doing what you do for the right reasons? Can't all be just about making the most money.
Yeah, no, very fair. And I think it's tricky with business because, when people say, hey, that's, something bad happens, you say, oh, that's business. You know what, as I've gotten older, I say, okay, that's business, but that doesn't mean you need to be an asshole.
Right.
Right? So sometimes things happen and you can have disagreements, and it's how you carry yourself. And one of the biggest key things is to kind of keep the emotion out of things. Like, if you write that email and you press send, it's such a mistake where if you pick up the phone and the way the tone is perceived can be a whole lot different than creating this imaginary war in your head by sending that email that you should have never sent.
Yeah. And the other action statement is strive to be a good person.
Yeah.
I hate to say this. I went to visit my mom and dad on Mother's Day Saturday, and it was like being in a room of people who just aren't good people. They're not good to each other. They're not good to their family. And it's like, why do people want to be that way?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Again, our relationship goes back almost like 15 years now or something like that. I look at you, and you've kind of recreated, and you've created. I always point you out as like, this is a guy who's done very good things. I can't even keep up with you all year. I was just on the phone with someone before we came in here. I was like, this guy's everywhere. I can't. Philadelphia networking group, going up to Boston, South Carolina. I'm like, I can't even do that. But I did refer you this morning too.
Did you?
I did.
Did
yeah,
you?
I'll talk about that after the podcast.
Very good. Very good.
But you're right. You want to be a good person, and I think what people don't realize is as you move along in life as a whole, things aren't always black or white. And even when you think you're trying to do the right thing, you might not be doing the right thing, and shit just happens sometimes.
And just so you know, I've only had good people on the show.
That's a prerequisite.
That's a prerequisite.
To be on the podcast.
So,
yeah.
Just wanted to share that with you. All right, big win of the week. You know me about sales. My national account guy, who basically has stripped away and taken every major account. Good luck to him. He stole it fair and square. He sent me a lead on Friday, and I immediately jumped all over it. And it was just so unique that the Cornell Medicine University in New York City hired an entire team from a San Diego clinic.
Right.
An entire team. They've made offers to 28 out of the group. There's 28 in the group. They've already gotten 18 commitments, and they want to use us to relocate.
Oh. Big deal.
Could be over $100K job.
Yep.
And I immediately jumped on the call, hit it off with her smashingly. Like, she was just this cool chick from New York City.
Right.
And we just shot the breeze, and it went so well. We got a call tomorrow, schedule a Zoom call with her and everyone who's moving.
Right.
She's putting the whole team on, so I brought one member of my team onto this call for tomorrow as well, so we can review it all. One shot, one call, and now we move on.
Right.
So, huge win.
That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. You?
So SEM Holdings, it's so interesting because we built this from ground zero. Now we're celebrating our 4-year anniversary in July or so, funded ourselves and whatnot. We just landed a major customer that is you would know it's a sneaker brand. They have retail stores all over the place, so there's part of the family as well. But I'd say one of the major things as a whole is the ability to stay patient. You know, people don't underestimate, like you can get very stressed when all this stuff comes along, and when you stick with a customer, you might call 10 times. It's easy to walk away from it, but having that ability to be patient sometimes is a critical component, and I think I'm very happy that I have not panicked and been patient along this way.
Well, you know, I had this opportunity back in, we'll say October, 70K opportunity, pretty big for me. Did all the workups on it. Guy loved it. I'll get back to you. Sent him a hello in January.
Right.
Sent him a hello on Thursday.
Right.
On Friday, I got a call from the office saying, oh, this guy called in looking for his rep. What the fuck? I spent at least 2 hours with you on the phone, running 15 different quotes to all over the country. You forgot who I am? And I emailed you yesterday.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah, I get it. But you get, depending who you're dealing with, they might pass off to an assistant and they just...
Nah, I wasn't one of those.
No.
It was like
All
me
right.
having a conversation with Andre. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the conversation.
Shit happens.
Yeah, I was a little fucking pissed.
That's how it goes, man.
So, I'm headed to a conference this week.
Okay.
I'm going down to North Carolina. I'll be away for 3 days. Similar to what I did in Philadelphia. It's a relocation. So it's RSMs, it's VPs of moving companies, moving directors. But this is a bigger one. They're calling it Relopalooza.
Okay.
They're taking the Richmond chapter and the Charlotte chapter, and they're doing one together.
Makes sense.
At a Marriott in Raleigh.
Right.
So, you know, get down there Wednesday afternoon. They have an event already Wednesday night, get to know you event. And then Thursday is just meetings, lunches, networking opportunities, and then a dinner at the end of all of that.
Right.
So it's, you know, full action-packed day of networking, and then fly home on Friday.
Okay.
What do you got coming up?
So we're going to be in Texas at the Retail Loss Prevention Foundation show. It's a little outside my comfort zone, so I'm kind of like this. Again, your CFO working trade shows is a little bit
a little unusual.
However, this is not your typical CFO. It is, because we're all about sales,
Sure.
at the end of the day. So that's a big opportunity for us. We bought a company from there celebrating 2 years now, and you never know what type of opportunity could come up as we're working the show.
So my trade show tip or conference trip, don't miss the before get-together. So when I went to that trade show, the conference in Philly, there were many first-timers. There was one out of the 15 first-timers who was at the event the night before. That was me.
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
Be part of it.
Yep. Yeah, and we always said, hey, listen, your trade show itinerary starts weeks in advance. Plan your meetings. Do what you got to do. Make it. If you just show up at a trade show and you walk the floor.
Yeah, well, this is a conference, so this is one of those, we're going to have breakfast, and then we're going to have speakers, and you're just going to pick a table to go sit at. You're going to pay attention to who's in the room. You're going to write down names of companies that you hear. You'll sit with somebody else at lunchtime,
I like some things we talk about. I like when it almost forces. Well, when we do even when we did our networking event last summer, we almost force people to get out of the comfort zone, because as much as not everybody's like you, where you can basically just get dumped into a room with a bunch of strangers and whatnot. Right. And some of these conferences and networking events, when you can almost set the schedule to be like, okay, you're forced to meet. It's almost like speed, what we call it, speed dating.
Oh, it is.
Networking,
It is. All right, listen, we're going to go to Tequila Time, and we're going to bring out our guest. And
Great,
then
very excited. Let's do it.
A couple more questions. So we'll be back in 5, 4, 3, out. Welcome back, everybody. Episode number 31 of How to Become a Sales Warrior. I'm your host, Eddie Podds. This is
Mark Simpson.
And we have a very special guest today. This is Autumn Storm. Say hello.
Hi.
So it's tequila time. I'll tell you what it is about after we take our shot to move fast from that. Tequila time is to look at something that we've done maybe 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, that we're doing something different now that we didn't have that far, and just making a comparison. And to me, this was a simpler one. Phone call, email, text. Up until, it had to be 2 years ago. Those are the three forms of communicating with my clients. The Zoom aspect, or Microsoft Teams aspect, the fact that they've made it so easy that I can set up meetings.
Right.
And I am so fast on every call. Can we jump on a Zoom call next week? I want to look you in the eye.
Yeah.
I want to see your face. You can't do that with an email. You can't do that with a text. You can't do that. But that is powerful. And my calendar of late, 5, 6 meetings that normally would have just been a
filled up with Teams.
7 or 8 minute phone call turns into, I got you for 30 minutes. Now I can talk. So my goal is to get friendly. Let's find out something about you. Let's not talk business yet. Let's have a little conversation.
What's your pet peeve when? What's your pet peeve when you're doing a Teams meeting and you have other people on it?
Everyone's always on mute.
No, when they're not on video.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's
I could see that. I could see that.
Because I'm the one hosting and I'm on camera, your ass is on camera.
Right.
I expect everyone to be on camera all the time.
100%. And if I need to spell that out, okay, I'll spell it out, because I'm not going to do this staring at your little circle.
Right.
But it's so more effective for a real meeting. A bullshit 1 minute call trying to find something out, whatever. But being able to get a decision maker to jump on a Teams call, for me, it's a game changer.
Yeah, something you said.
I think so much is lost in translation when you can't see the mannerisms. When someone's speaking, how they talk, it changes the dynamic of a conversation.
If you're good on camera.
good on camera. You have to be good in person. If you're good in person, you'll be great on camera.
Correct, but there are a lot of people that you see out networking that are not good in person.
That is true.
And it kind of gets scary. So we left a couple of questions out so we could include Autumn in these questions. So we're going to talk about networking tips, and this is right what I just said off camera.
Yep.
Stray outside your comfort zone.
Right.
Be uncomfortable.
It's very easy to stay in line with what you know to do, but you're never going to get the people that you want by doing the same. You know, and with networking, it's very hard. You don't know where to go. I mean, think about it. What groups do I join? Why do I join? What's the right amount?
How many groups are you in?
I'm actually not in any.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, how about that?
But she still networks?
Yeah, and I network quite a lot.
Right.
There's a rule of thumb. You should really never join any networking group unless 30 or 40% of your demographic base is part of that group.
I really like that a lot.
If they're not, then it's great to do a sponsorship, do a breakfast, something like that. It's great to do a stop by, a visit or two, bring a guest that you think would be good for the group, do that.
Right.
The person who's leading the group will love you because you're thinking about them.
Be a connector.
It's
You don't have to spend money to be a connector.
So when you say 30 to 40%, you're saying actual potential customers
of
or
their
clients?
membership base.
Got
So
it.
you have a networking group, 30 to 40% of your demographic should be part of that networking base.
Got it.
If it's not, don't join it.
Oh, got it.
It doesn't make sense to do it. They're going to kill me, but don't.
No, I
have
appreciate that.
34 members in my networking group. 21 have rented a POTS container.
I love that. See? But
21.
it's great. A lot of people will go to some of these networking groups, and yeah, you're networking, you're meeting with the same people over and over again. But what happens is you're worried about giving other people referrals instead of you growing your business.
Correct.
Right.
And it's great if you want to do that as a social aspect, but for a business aspect,
Well, so that's interesting because the Comac Chamber, which I mentioned before, my business is all national for the most part. So it's not really like I don't do it to network for
we'll be in
business.
touch later, by the way.
Okay. Well, I don't do it to network for business. The whole thing with Comac Chamber, and Ed's involved too, we wanted to just do something positive for the community. So
Charity.
Right. It's
good stuff.
It's almost like the pressure's off because I'm like, look, I'll introduce people, but I'm not looking for business.
Right.
I don't do what you
And
guys
that's not
do.
what they want you there for.
Right.
They want to help you to help in leadership.
It's always good to help and not have responsibility.
Right,
You know,
sure.
I mean, there are plenty of things that I help with, but I don't have an official title because it kind of takes the fun out of it. I think if you're helping to help, it's
So
different.
you're not in any official networking groups, but how many
No,
groups
well,
are you?
I'm part of organizations.
Okay.
So I sit on the board for the Women's Economic Development of Long Island. I sit on the board for Habitat for Humanity of Long Island. That merged with Nassau and Suffolk for some
Wonderful.
time. So I'm on those. But I'm a part of a lot of networks,
Right.
but I don't officially pay dues to anybody.
Smart, yeah, very
It's the
smart.
way to go.
And
Yeah.
well, there's a way to do it. I get to know that group. I get to know who they want, why they want them. And again, as I said earlier, like the person running the group is great. They think the group is great. They're working on impressing the people that are members. And they think their group is so great that those members will tell other people. They don't. They don't because they're just focused on that.
Right.
I go out and I find the new blood and I go, you know what group would be good for you? You do this, you need to meet this person. You do that, go here. And I keep budgets in mind. Like I'm not
I'm
going
going to have you in my group, just as a guest. Come for
Add me.
breakfast.
I would love it. I would love it.
All right, we're going to move to best business decision of the week. And for me, it's the one I didn't do. It's the one I didn't do. And the business decision was I caught someone stealing at work.
No.
And I had all the evidence documented. And 2 days before I was going to do something with it, someone else caught him. And he went to the bosses, and the bosses defended the guy and took the blame for it all.
Well, he got
Is
to
he,
them
is
first.
he a big producer?
No, he's a good stealer.
Got it.
The best decision I made was to not worry about what the fuck everybody else is doing.
Right.
Right.
I don't give a
It'll
shit.
drive you
If you had to
crazy.
steal to get what you had, good luck to you, man.
Right.
Because I don't need to steal, and I don't need to get into this game.
Yeah.
You did this. You did.
Well, it's hard. You're going to drive yourself nuts. And with
Yeah.
karma, remember with karma,
Karma.
it's two things. One,
Sure.
world is going to give karma, or you can give karma. Sometimes in a conversation, you can give karma, and that's great because you're going to give it softer than anyone else. This dude's going to learn a hard lesson
sure
from
is.
someone, and it's going to be the wrong way, so his karma is going to be double. So
Not fired?
No. What was your best business decision of the
I think I
week?
mentioned earlier, but my best, running a business, the key is being patient.
yeah.
Because, especially in my scenario where I deal with financial situations all the time, every day. and you can panic. You could see the market going one way. You could see the debt markets doing something, and you can get very nervous. When you're running a business, sometimes you have to be kind of stay the course. And what we've done over the last couple months has been very calm, very patient, and I kind of feel that our business is kind of taking the next level. So having that, and my job is I could be nervous, but my team can't see that, and all the pressure falls on me. And I think we've done a pretty good job, and my partner as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm pretty happy with where we're going. So it's an exciting experience.
Consistency makes the
biggest
best,
word, yeah.
because it is the biggest confidence booster you could have between you and your team is giving them that, because even though you're stressed out and you're probably going nuts, they see that level-headedness, and I guarantee you they will follow you till the end of time.
Yep.
What was your best business decision of the week?
Stepping out of my comfort zone.
Coming on the podcast?
Yeah, well, it's a first for me. I have to get used to the camera, so being on a podcast
You're
is
over
a first for me.
there.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah.
I just found out today.
But that would be stepping out of my comfort
There you
zone,
go. Good. You get first question, Mark.
First question?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
You did all that research. I did none of that.
I always do research because that's the
his
nature
job.
of nature.
I love it.
So, what we're always kind of curious about is your path. How did, if you kind of go back from when you started your career to how you made these decisions to kind of be off on your own and doing what you do? Again, I have a respect for it because obviously as a C-level executive for years, I've met, folks and there's a different value. So I'd just be curious, how did you get there from where did you start?
I've always, when I was very little, I always asked the question, why? And my mom would be driving. I'm like, why does this happen? Why does that happen? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, but why? Or what if? What if this would happen? What if that would happen? And she's like, just why are you asking these questions? Like what? And so I was always very curious. So as I progressed in what I did professionally, I would learn as much as I could about something. And unfortunately, I have a short attention span. And I'm like, I'm over it. I want to learn more.
I'm going to say it's ADD because I had it too.
It's totally ADHD.
Yeah,
and I watched like a segment on it, and I saw a little girl that had it. I was
That's
like, oh, that
me.
was me. Yeah, I was like, oh, that was me.
Undiagnosed, right?
So it's good and it's bad. But in the sense of like, I started in mortgages, went to automotive. I spent a good 10, 15 years in automotive.
Did you?
Yeah. And
selling or in the finance book?
No, I was a BD. I started as a BDC rep and moved my way up to a
BDC. What is BDC?
Business Development Center rep.
Okay.
You remember those annoying people? You'd put in a lead on the internet for a car, and they would just call you going, come into my dealership.
You're the one on the chat, or got it.
But I was that person that would do 400 calls a day and be like, I'm bored, give me more.
Okay.
And I had a 60 to 75% show ratio. And they're like,
really?
Oh, that's because they saw you. And I was like, this was phone. They never met me in person. They never saw me.
So you would call 400 people and over 250 or so would show?
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
I made, right. And then I taught a room full, but then I would teach a room full of people how to do it.
Right.
Now, mind you, before that, I was working for a mortgage company, and I learned how to get Social Security numbers over the phone and was very good at doing that and trained a room full of people how to do it.
Okay, so you were at the mortgage company first?
First, yeah. It was during college. It was the only telemarketing gig that would work around my schedule.
So you were working while you were at college?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Suffolk.
Got it.
Suffolk
Okay,
Community College,
listen.
Yeah. It was great. It's
college
great.
is college.
Listen,
Smart.
college.
As someone who's got kids that are looking now,
It's a great way to like test the waters.
Totally understand.
So that was the only thing that would work around my crazy schedule because you can't choose your schedule.
And I'm only mortgage, because there was a period where being in the mortgage business was tremendous.
That was around that time. It was in 99, 2000, 2001.
Got it.
And I was doing very well. Taught a room full of people how to do it. They fired me because I was more expensive than keeping the people
That's how
I
it
trained.
always goes. Yeah.
It was a hard lesson. I learned it.
Yep.
Then went into automotive. Within about 6 months to a year, I was running 3 business development centers over tri-state areas.
Do you work for a dealership?
Yeah, one dealer principal who has multi-dealerships.
Got it.
And then I would hop to another dealership doing the same thing. And I thought, oh, well, if I could do this for them, I could do this for multiple.
Was it all over the phone, or were you starting to do internet at that point?
A lot of them were internet, but again, no Zoom, no Teams, nothing like that. A lot of them were, they would come in, they would meet with me, they'd meet with the sales team. It turned into me auditing individual dealerships. So a lot of grown men hated me. But it was a good industry to be in, but you work like 90 hours a week.
It's right.
Very stressful. I wouldn't recommend it. And
what do they call it when you walk in? It's an up or something like that. Yeah,
it's a lot. But then why didn't it sell?
Right.
So then I would have like 1,000
but
people.
if you're bringing them in, then you have to figure out why it didn't sell.
Right. No, the owner goes, why didn't they sell? And I go, hey, I audited it, and Frank didn't he only sat with 12 people. He's supposed to sit with all of them that don't
So
sell.
he had all these people come in.
Right, and then I'm telling on grown men to the boss that they weren't doing their job.
So that makes you very popular.
Yeah, I got locked in the dealership.
So where'd you go from there?
I went into, actually I had my son, So I stayed home with him for a little bit. I worked for Optimum before the takeover to Altice. Dabbled around from there. I worked for Canon for a short bit, copiers, printers, software solutions. That was a great time. Went into software sales with Wolters Kluwer. I've done remediation.
So is it fair to so your initial background, would you consider BD / sales?
Always business development, always sales. Always had that in mind, you know.
Mainly to the consumer, though?
Always in the beginning. And then once I hit remediation, that's when it came more business to business, business to customer. But then what I would do is find avenues and ways to reach your target demographic that nobody else has done.
When you say remediation, ServPro?
Yeah, like ServPro, DEC oil spills, tank abatement, phase 1, phase 2 site assessments. Now I'm working with ADU contractors. They're up.
So just translate
it's like
for me.
on steroids.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, special targeted, got it.
Fire, water, mold, construction remediation.
Okay, it was like, if you had a flood or fire damage, okay.
So we do that.
Working with insurance companies, got it.
All of them.
Okay.
That's what ServPro is.
Got it.
So all that stuff, but just on a bigger scale. But then I have my consulting, and again.
So when did you start? So this is your business.
Yeah, well, I realized 12 years ago when I first started networking, I couldn't figure out how to monetize what I was doing. So it's only been the past 2 or 3 years that I actually figured out
how to get paid.
Well, because that is what you just said can be repeated over and over by several bits. How do I monetize my idea?
Monetize it. And it took me a little bit to figure it out, but I have a knack with, if you tell me who your target demographic is, I can help you leverage your current network to find your clients without you spending any more money.
Got it. So
except in referral feedback, and it's great.
Oh, so referral fee is based on?
Maybe, but some industries can't accept referral fees back.
Got it.
It wipes out half the industry.
No, you'd be surprised. There are other ways that
you can't do it with real estate.
In their name, and they get a write-off.
Tax write-off,
thank you cards. There are ways to do it that don't conflict with their ethics or their rules, but it's utilizing your COIs because they've already spent the money to get your target demographic.
Right.
You want who they've already cultivated. Now I work with you, and I'm going to make it so worth your while that you're going to look like a hero to your clients, that if you offer them what I'm giving you, they will love you.
So, I got a couple questions here. All right. So when you start the business, right? So you basically say, okay, I'm going off on my own, I'm doing this.
Doing my own thing.
And the first part of the business, you're kind of figuring out, because there's expenses that come with it, you got to support yourself and whatnot. And you're doing this full time, or are you still doing other stuff?
No, this is part time.
This is your side hustle.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, because if I'm working 9 to 5 for a remediation company, but if I'm talking to you and you're like, hey, I need someone who does this, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, I have this person. You should talk. He's going to help. Let me give it to you right now.
Right.
So now you're going to be happy that I just helped you with this. You're going to be more likely to help me and give me a deal because I just helped you with a problem that you had right in the moment.
So when you figured out how to monetize, walk me through when did the kind of light go off and we're like, oh shit, I got it. This is something I can.
Well, I can honestly tell you, it started with when I give leads, right? If I give you a bunch of people and you call them and you're like, hey, they didn't work out, give me more. And I'm like, no, because you're burning the people that I'm giving you because the people that I meet, I'm cultivating a relationship with.
Right, and it's an extension of your relationship.
Right.
I get it.
They're calling me and they're being like, Eddie was great. I love Eddie. Give me Eddie. Okay, great. I know that he's going to get more referrals from that. But if I give him you and you don't call him, they're going to be like, he never called me back. He doesn't remember my name. I spent 2 hours with him. He was
I always
horrible.
call, just for the record. I always call.
Yeah, he always call back. Good.
He does.
But, and that's kind of when I realized, oh my goodness, like if you would like me to do this for you and you want me to focus on your business so you come top of mind when I'm out and about, because I know a lot of people, you're going to pay me a retainer of X amount.
Got it.
So this way I know if I'm giving you leads, you're not going to burn them.
So it's interesting. So I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram. I saw somebody who was, it was like they were showing, I don't know if it was real, but it was live pitch. And the guy was doing a website design. And the customer was pushing back, saying, oh, I don't want to pay that. But the website designer goes, well, wait a second. If I'm going to, I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay me anything, but if I increase I get 50% of whatever I bring
Whatever
in.
you're back at, yep.
And so,
I've had deals like that.
Right, because the designer was so confident, and then
everybody wins.
And the customer's like, well, wait a sec, that's too much. Well, so you're not willing to pay me for what I'm worth. But the reality is, as a business owner, and you think about getting to be able to bring in new business, the hardest thing it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
bringing in new business is the hardest and I think one of the most important skills that are out there right now.
Said this to my boss this morning. He asked me how it was going. Told him some things I wasn't happy about.
Right.
And I said, I am going to find the business one way or another.
Right, but that answer is so, because the common person would be like, you didn't give me leads, I don't like the website, you haven't updated LinkedIn with news articles or something like that. You turn around and you're basically like, I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. I'll go figure out whatever I got to do.
Well, my thing is it depends on the type of lead you're getting, because you can get a generic lead that just randomly someone I think I want it or I don't want it. But if I'm giving you someone who is the decision maker of the company that you want, you're going to be like, that's new business of something I want, and I have a decision maker.
You walked me into a place that you couldn't get to.
You open the door, so it's almost like a glorified door opening, and sometimes that happens.
Okay, so and I just want to make sure. So you go off an hour. Are you this full-time business now, or are you still?
I'm always doing it. You're never not doing it.
Yeah, there's no off and on,
there's no 9 to 5. Like, so if I'm out to dinner, I could be sitting there and someone next to me starts talking about X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, do you do that? I have someone for you.
Got it.
And I will just connect them, and that person will remember me, and that person will remember me.
So, and just because I cheat and I do my research, so when I look at your LinkedIn profile or whatnot, and it's an understanding of when you target C-level, and basically what you're saying is, hey, listen, I come in and I help you guys obtain business and open doors that you normally wouldn't get.
Right.
Is that, I nailed it?
Fair to say.
Okay.
Fair to say, yeah.
Got it. And let me tell you something, as I hate to use this term, but as I've been a CFO for 20 plus years, one of the things you always want to do, one of the most important things, is why I love Ed. And Ed and I, we've done some stuff, but it's just a matter of time till we really figure it out. But bringing in that new business, it doesn't matter. Like, literally, I tell people, I don't give a shit what you're selling. If you can just open the door.
You'd be surprised, and I love that you appreciate that. A lot of people, they don't realize how hard that is. And for me, it's easy because it just comes naturally, but a lot of people, it's very difficult. I can get you in rooms where they are, but then you have to sell you.
Well, right.
I can only do so much. And they're like, well, I want you to manage the relationship. I'm like, no, I'm not your salesperson.
Well, that's a so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So now if we're talking business side, because I look at your business, there's so many people that you probably bring in, and just as you said earlier, people probably screw up that relationship.
Oh, it's horrible.
Right?
But you want to quantify it and get paid for it.
And not every,
Well, I'll do the follow-up. So I'll say, hey, how did dinner go? And they go, and I'll go to the dinner with you. And I go, how'd the dinner go? They go, great. But he didn't call me. I'm like, but you wanted to meet him. He's like, well, yeah. And I was like, but he said he called me. I'm like, no, you want to meet him.
Right.
Like, so I actually have like a workbook that will show you how to have follow-up and best practices, but I can't do the work for you.
Right.
Nor will you.
Does it say?
That's why you cut it off.
First thing is put your ego at the door and don't worry about who's calling who, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
So that's been a tough thing too, and that is a huge thing that I encounter with a lot of C-suite.
So do you offer, in addition, opening the door is huge, and to your point, where sometimes the door's open and you guys screw it up anyway, I'm sure, because you're looking at somebody who does this, do you basically also bring the sale from you? Like, it's essence, it's a full analogy. You're getting the ball on a kickoff, and you're starting off, on offense. Are you able to drive the ball down the field by managing that? Or do you offer that? Or are people looking?
I do offer it if it's available, but again, it's hard because sometimes I can bring in like fish. It's like I can bring in the whale, but that doesn't mean you can support it. Because I'll have some people who are like, hey, I want X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, here you go. And they're like, oh, well,
what do I do with it? What do I do with it?
I don't have the means to support that. And then I go, okay, well, I don't really, we can't pay you on that because of this. And I'm like,
right. Yeah,
I get it. So it gets a little bit difficult, But
for myself, I'm heavy project driven. Size of projects really make a difference, huge difference in my business. And that's my freaking sweet spot.
Yeah.
Meaning when someone has all these worries about locations and here and inventory and this and that, and I'm like, I got it.
Well, so I said I contacted you for that other deal that's coming up. That's huge.
Yeah, she's part of this thing that's going to happen. They're going to need to move like 25 people from all over the country to one centralized location. We'll just say it's New Jersey. And
huge. Multifaceted, like all this stuff. And so when they told me, I was like, I got a guy for you.
And they're going to have to go back.
Yeah.
When the show's over, they're going to have to move them back.
Got it.
Okay.
So it's like, but again, because I had met him and I know what he does now.
You have a sense of comfort,
Right.
and you know this man's following us.
So, you know what the
Right.
funny thing is? I want to ask you, because you've mentioned it to me, but I've never come to you and said, oh, Kai's not calling me back. He's not answering my call. I've never done that.
No, it's me.
I have left my message. I have shot follow-up emails. It's TV world. When I was talking to him, this is probably something 2 or 3 years down the road.
Well, that's why we had talked about it.
Right.
But it's funny how I ask you, did he follow up with you? Not did you follow up with him? I
Correct,
did he follow
correct.
up with you?
And I
So
have
it's a
not since
very-
the initial conversation, which is
but
fine.
that's usually how it runs when I introduce someone. Because if I introduce someone to you, I'll be like, hey, did they call you?
Right,
And
right.
you're going to be like, oh, no, they didn't. I'm like, okay. And then I go and harass them. And I go,
Got it.
go
That's
call
also
them, go call them.
my patience part.
Yeah.
I have the patience not to fuck up
Right,
a
right,
deal
right. To,
by
like,
being
rush it,
overzealous,
rush it,
pushy.
yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
All right, you got another question?
Well,
Go.
so we've gotten to this spot. What now, as you're growing your business now, fair?
Mm-hmm.
What are your target customers? What's your target sweet spot?
For me, it's everybody. I'm industry agnostic.
Mm-hmm.
It's real, and I love to help. It's good and it's bad because I don't say no when I should say no because
Well, maybe that's part of learning on your own side of the business,
it's
right?
like
Yeah.
learning on me, but I could still say no to you,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll go and do something, and someone will say they need you. I'll be like, oh, I got a guy for you.
Right.
Like, and so I'll do that anyway. So I don't have a specific industry. It's really the person. It's the type of person that you want to work with.
So-
Ego's got to be at the door.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's huge,
No,
huge.
listen, I've been in boardrooms where it's you can cut the tension.
I've heard just stories, to be honest.
It's
I
been-
honestly have.
It's literally, for lack of a better phrase, whose dick is bigger. And
Yep.
who's gonna
No,
be, and
that's-
it really is. And then
Comes
you
a
have to sit
pissing
there-
contest.
Really, really. And I have to sit there and be like,
Yeah. So
Okay.
to your point, when I was younger, it was very, very intimidating.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just kind of like, okay, yes, and now you're like, all right, I don't give a shit.
yeah, it doesn't
It's like, all right, guys,
matter.
enough. And I say this all the time. I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. Especially, it's like, okay, are we generating new business? Now,
Right.
obviously, we want to do it ethically, the right way, fulfill. But I don't care. I don't want to hear stories. I don't want to hear this. That. What are we doing to generate new business? I want
Right, right.
solutions. I don't give a shit about anything else.
Did you watch Landman?
No, I don't. I wish I had time to watch
There's
TV.
a kick-ass lawyer in there that just made me remind,
I'll
like
take it.
she's, is the old boys club, old and young Texas guy, and they're sassing her, and she just
Gives it right back. I love
ripped them to
it.
shreds.
That was me in automotive. I had to fight.
So,
I think.
so now for
Yeah.
any of the viewers, so right now, if someone's looking to say, hey, look, because I got to believe, and a lot of, at least my involvement here, we've had a lot of entrepreneurs, and everyone's
Right.
looking to grow their
Right,
business.
yeah.
So, don't use me for example, but let's pretend. So theoretically, CFO, COO, CEO contacts you and says, hey, look, my target market is X.
Right.
And then you say, okay, I'm looking for high-level introductions into this type of vertical.
Okay.
Is that how you operate in certain respects?
That could be
or-
a way to do it.
Right.
There are different ways. The best thing I would say is who's your target market?
Mm-hmm.
Who else has them as their, so again, who's your target market? Who else has your target market as a demographic? Those
Right.
are the people you want to be friends with because
Right.
they've already spent the money to be friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
They already have a marketing thing. They already have a database.
Right.
And then you partner with them and then they give you access. If you're looking to meet CEOs, CFOs, those type of people, I need to put you in rooms where they're at. So
Right.
that's where a little stalking comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
I do like organic meetings as opposed
Organic,
to structured
yeah.
ones.
Oh, yeah. So structures
So
are tough, yeah.
what I do is I really research a company that you're looking for. What are their importance? Like, what are they interested in? What charities are they involved in? What is their mission statement? Are you aligned with them? Would they want to work with you? Where are the pros and cons? So I really do a lot of research
Mm-hmm.
in that aspect. And then I go, hey, they're going to be at this golf event. You should really be at that golf event. Like, you should really sponsor that. You're going to be the only one there.
Got it.
All right, we got to get to the last two questions.
Oh, yeah.
No, you get the last one, I get the last one.
Oh, okay. So you've obviously made a tremendous amount of success. It seems like your time is all over
Is
the place.
now.
My time is not structured. I'm kind of working all the time. But for me, it's fun.
So where you've gotten to a certain point, so where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'm hoping to go national.
Okay.
I'm hoping to go national. And by that, it's going to enable the people that I've worked with thus far a platform for that as well. I love helping the people that have been there to support me.
So you talk about having employees, possibly some sort of app? Or?
Yeah, no. I definitely have an app coming out. That one I'm working on. But I'll have the application that's more for networking. I'll have my referral program. I have an affiliates page. I have, something for my networkers. Because again, think about it this way. You're a brand new business. You don't know what groups to go to. You come to my page, it'll show you what networking group you should go to, why and how much it is, and bring you straight to them.
Okay.
So you're not going to 1530 because the biggest complaint I get is people like networking sucks.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Because they don't know how to do it.
No, because they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And again, you'll say, what's my ROI?
Yeah.
And again, when people always tell me, hey, you got to do search engine optimization.
Yeah.
And it could get pretty expensive, our Google keywords or something like that. I say, okay, well, I spent all this money. How do I even
Quantify
see what
So to do something like that is, again, I'm a little bit different. There's a phrase called fish where your fish are fishing. Because your competitors won't be there.
No, what you're saying, I appreciate and I like, and I'm always intrigued by hearing different kind of, like a sales technique or business development technique. The thing that then I could see how you guys are connected, but Ed, like literally, if I call, I'm pretty sure if I call Ed tomorrow and I was like, Ed, listen, I need a favor. I need you to find me this guy in Tennessee, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure that within a day, Ed will get back to me and say, okay, look, here's what you got to do, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I have the sense that you're probably similar where if I was like, hey, I got to...
I know a guy that knows a guy's uncle.
Know a guy. Always know a guy.
I know a guy, knows a guy, knows a guy's uncle.
And I'm fortunate that I have coworkers all over this country. All over this country. So, and there are people I could pick up the call. Yo, I need this.
But it's
what do you got?
relationships that
Of course.
built. These are not people that I just met one off. It's like I got to know them. I got to know their family, their likes, their dislikes. I got to have a conversation with them. I connected with them, and that makes them want to work with you. That's why Zoom and Teams are so important because you're creating that connection.
And if you could talk to people like a person.
Yeah.
Last question. This is a fun one. If you could sit down and break bread with any person, past or present.
Oh, I wish I was prepared for something like this.
It's not that deep.
Yeah, no, you'd be surprised. For me, I'm very philosophical. So past or present?
Meaning they're dead or alive.
No, right now, Trump. I would want to sit down with Trump.
God bless you.
I would really want to sit down with him.
That's
honestly.
awesome.
That would be, if in the moment, quick. I would want to, and I'd want to ask both sides questions.
So a couple of good things just happened now. One, we just got more viewers, and two, we just lost more viewers, which is awesome. But finally, now we're talking. Yeah, and listen, I make no bones about it. I think this is the most dynamic president we've seen in our lifetime.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
It's a good word for it.
It's unprecedented.
It's unprecedented because, and again, no politician here, but when the tariff thing is just mind-boggling. I've heard every Democrat since 1988 say the exact same thing Trump has said, the exact same words. We're going to do something about it. And they don't do anything about it. So he's the guy that's going to do something about it.
My biggest thing is just, I have questions. I'm very down the middle. Money is green to me.
What would be the one question you'd ask him?
I would want to know what he's doing to help, the single moms and the moms in business. Because that's
interesting.
Like, for me,
Fair.
I'm a single mom. I've been on my own with him since my son was 5.
Right.
And it's been difficult for me. That and veteran stuff. Those are the two that I'm really passionate
Good questions.
about. But those would be the topics.
A quick sidebar.
Go ahead, sidebar.
I tried out for the second season of The Apprentice.
Did
and
you?
I made it to Trump International.
That's great.
You never told me.
And I made it to Trump International, and I was like maybe top 100 or something like that. And I also bought Marla Maples' old apartment.
Love it.
I didn't know it was hers, but it turned out.
own it?
No, I don't want to get into that.
Okay, yeah.
But they used to sneak them in through the.
through there, yeah.
And
that's so funny.
All right, we're coming to the end of the show. You're going to look into your camera.
That one, okay.
Name, company, how they can get in touch with you.
Autumn Storm Beam, not just Autumn Inc. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Autumn Storm Beam, or you can contact me, phone 631-416-2468. No spamming. Thank you so much.
Mark Simpson, SEM Holdings, 917-414-4027. We do loss prevention throughout the country on C-stores and retail locations.
My name is Eddie Podge. If you need a pod storage container or your company has a project that is moving across the country or down south, I'm your point person. You can reach me at 631-334-8587. If you want to see a copy of this podcast, you can go to Spotify. It should be there within the next 24 hours. Another great episode of How to Become a Sales Warrior.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
My wife was very happy. I said, I got another girl coming on the show. She goes, you got to work harder on that. Because it's harder to find a businesswoman who's willing to take off of work in the middle of the day. Serious.
You have to.
But we have your sister coming in.
Yeah, my sister runs an animal rescue.
Oh, I love that. I have so many nonprofits that would love her.
Okay.
So, anyway, it's been great. Have a good day.